Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Vanessa Cosmo and thank you for hanging out with me today. So in today's video, I'm going to go through some of my favorite products from Merit and talk about their new bronzer balms that they came out with this summer. I'm going to go through swatches and also apply them to my face so you can get an idea of the formula and how I like to use it. I do want to mention that this video is in partnership with Merit. Thank you so much, Merit, for partnering with me today and sponsoring this video. It is my first sponsored video, which is a huge deal to me. I can't believe that I'm sitting here doing this for you guys, and I just want to say thank you so much to all of my subscribers and viewers. You guys totally made this happen, and I am over the moon that I can sit here and talk about a brand that I am totally behind and love every single one of their products. There's something that I use on the daily, whether it's the foundation. Currently the bronzer sits right on front and I use it in my regular routine. Their lipsticks, there's always one or two living in my purse, and same with the blushes, like as well as the highlighter. I usually use the highlighter as a highlighting primer. So I've definitely talked about them a lot. I have a lot of videos going through how I apply various products, but today is focused really around the base set and how you can achieve a really nice look just using those three products. And I really do think they're a staple, because if you're someone who just wants something one and done, quick out the door, all you really do need is a foundation, a brush, and some bronzer. You can get their bronze balm in the base set that Merit offers on their website. Now it includes their Minimalist foundation and concealer. You also get their #1 brush, and then you also get the bronzer balm. So all three products come in the set and it retails for $88 US, which is a discounted savings of 10%. I think without the 10%, it's $98 if you were to buy all of these individually. I just have to say I have bought their sets in the past, and I think it's really cool that every time they add a new product, you typically can find a set for that new product to try it out. Their foundation I discovered the beginning of 2022 and I've fallen in love with it. I talk a little bit more about it in this video and you can see how I apply it. I am wearing it today and I think it makes my skin look absolutely fabulous. Their brush is also a Best of Allure Beauty winner for 2021, and I actually own two of them. One was sent to me and the other I purchased myself because I just needed a backup of it. So whenever one's in my wash pile, I make sure I've got another ready to go. And then their bronzer balm is a new cream bronzer stick formula that I have absolutely fallen in love with. Now I have every single one of their shades and I love every single one of them and use them all in today's video for you to see. I am wearing the shade Monarch on my face today, which happens to be their darkest shade, but you should stay tuned and watch the rest of the video to see how I apply it. That being said, let's get into the video and the swatches and let you know my final thoughts on these bronzers. Alright, so let me take you through the base set and all the products in it. Like I mentioned in the intro, I will be swatching all of the shades of the new Merit Cream Bronzer, which I am so excited to talk with you about. So let's get everything out. So every first purchase comes with Merit's signature bag. I'm going to include a photo here of the one I got in my first order. I just thought it was absolutely the cutest thing. It's kind of like this grungy green yellow color. I actually use mine in my spare bathroom for all of my night creams right now. It's really cute and has like these little tie handles. You can actually fit quite a bit in it, and I think it's a perfect color for fall. You can also kind of use it as a clutch if you're going out and you want to use it in a different way. So I use it on the daily to store my makeup and creams, but just note that it does come free with every first purchase. And Merit also offers free shipping for orders that are over $40 and also free returns. Let's get into the foundation. So I actually have their first foundation and concealer they came out with. It's the same Minimalist foundation. What I did want to note is that they actually listened to everyone's comments and feedback when they first released their foundation slash concealer, and I think that's amazing because what they did, and I think the overwhelming consensus was that people were using this more as an actual foundation instead of just using a light layer and then blending it out or spot concealing, and they were finding that they were running through this pretty quickly. So Merit ended up adding more product for the same price. They didn't change the formula or anything like that. And so this is the old one, and then the new one is just a little bit taller. This is the lovely blue packaging it comes in, and the shade's just a little bit less blue, a little bit more gray, and you can see there's like just, I don't know, a 1/4 of an inch difference in height, but they've added more foundation to this, which I think is amazing. That was actually my biggest gripe with this foundation, is that I tend to use it a little bit more on the heavy side to just cover up all my imperfections because I am not in love with my skin. So I found that I was going to go through this pretty quickly. As for the formula, it's amazing and I loved using it. I have loved using it. It's something that I use when I'm in a rush and I just need to quickly pat out. It's something when I am in a rush and I don't have time to make my skin look perfect and I just want something that's going to do it for me. This does it for me. So I have the shade Linen, and that was the shade I had before. It might be a little too pale for me right now. As you can see by my lovely wash tan, I am quite a bit darker from working in the summer. So we're gonna fix that using the cream bronzer. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. Now, obviously to blend it out, I'm gonna use the brush number 1 here. And then the handle is actually recycled aluminum, 100% recycled aluminum. This works for blending literally anything. So I'm gonna use this to blend out my foundation. So like I said, I am the shade Linen. And what's nice about this formula is it's very creamy and easy to work with, but I find that it does not budge. And now I have oily combo skin. It's more oily leaning, and this, it works with it. But I also feel like if you have dry skin, this would work well for you too. So I'm just gonna start with that, and then we'll see how we need to build up. You can see how seamless this is blending out. Well, that color honestly isn't that bad. I'm gonna show you how to build it up. You could just stop right here if you were doing a more natural everyday look, which is something I like to do on the daily. But for today, I was feeling a little extra glam and wanting to be a little bit more polished. You can still see my blemishes coming through, but I feel like everything's looking a little bit more perfected, a little bit more evened out. There's still some redness, but we can build up the foundation and cover that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add a tiny bit more, and then I'm just gonna use my finger for underneath my eyes. So you can see how this would blend out as a concealer, very quick and easy. I recently came back from vacation and I just feel like my skin has been having a hard time recovering from that. Just a lot of different flights and the dry air just really affecting my skin. But wow, I feel like that foundation really brought it back. Not gonna lie and say that I'm not eagerly awaiting the day that Merit comes out with a clean powder. Oh my gosh, I will be all over that. I cannot wait. I don't know if they've got anything in the works, but I hope so. Okay, so now we're gonna go and apply the Bronze Balm onto the face. I've got all 5 shades here. 2 that I bought my own, and then 3 that were sent to me. The shades that I bought myself were Seine and Monarch. So I'm gonna go through them in order. We have Quince, Clay, Seine, Leo, and Monarch. Now, for Quince, we're gonna start by opening up the packaging. Again, the same blue unicarton across the board. I love their consistency, and then this is what the packaging looks like. I love the gold touch, and then when you open it up, it is oval shaped, and I feel like this really just helps to kind of use it as a very quick and easy bronzer. I will say that this formula is very sheer, so easy to blend out. It is by far the most easy to blend bronzer stick and bronzer, cream bronzer, that I have tried to date. And I really like that about it. I pretty much expected that from Merit, given how well I know their other products, their blush balms, their highlighters, even their foundation. So I knew that this would definitely meet my expectations, if not exceed it. So that's something to note. If you want a really intense bronzer, this is not for you. However, I'm assuming that if you're interested in this, you like a more natural kind of look, something that's like lit from within, and you are definitely gonna get that. This is gonna give your skin such a lovely glow. It has powdered pigments in it that kind of give you the color but still allow your skin to come through. So I'm gonna apply Quince just to kind of match everything on my neck and my shoulders to my face. And then when we go through the swatches on my face, I'll be removing them off the cheeks, reapplying foundation, and then showing you that way, but the perimeter will still stay with Quince. So to kind of match everything, I go like this, and then here I'll give you the cheek swatch. This is the lightest shade in the Bronze Balm. And then I just take it up top. Now this looks intense, but I kid you not, blends out in less than 90 seconds. And it's just such a beautiful bronzer. I've been in love with it since I tried it and could not wait to share it on my channel. But I want to do all the swatches for you so you could get an idea of the range and how to use it. And I also wanted to be really familiar with the formula before I talk to you about it. Now this is also one that you can leave on your face for a bit and blend it out. You don't need a brush to blend it out. You could use your fingertips and it'd work just as well. I'm gonna use the brush because this brush is amazing. I don't know if I mentioned, but it is an Allure Best of Beauty winner for 2021. It's just a brush that I reach for on the daily, no matter what cream product I'm blending out. So you can see how nicely that just blended out. Now I'm just patting it out to blend on my cheeks because I still want to keep some of the pigment. But you could definitely blend it further if you really didn't want to show much color. Perhaps you're the same shade as me and you want something darker. There are definitely different shades within this range that you can use, and you just need to blend it out a little bit more to get the color you might be looking for. And I find that in that way they're very versatile. So if you're more fair than me, this shade would absolutely work for you. It's a little on the warm side, but because it blends out so well, you can really make it work. There we go. Just a very natural wash of color, a slight bronze tint to my skin. I'll just show you a little close up. And then I will insert arm swatches just right after I finish applying this while I'm finishing the rest of my makeup. Okay, so the next shade that we have is Clay. I don't think I've actually tried this one on my skin yet. This is what it looks like here. You can see it is a bit more cool toned than Quince. So if you're someone who leans a little bit more neutral, a little bit more cool, I'd go with this. If you're someone who's a little bit more warm, go with Quince. You can see it's just a tad deeper. I'm going to be upfront with you. This has climbed to the top of my list of favorite bronzers because on the daily I do a very natural look. I don't really do something that's very full glam, and I find this so easy to use if I have just a little bit of a cheek tint on and just like a light foundation, just barely there, maybe a little bit of concealer, and then I like to apply this cream bronzer. And I feel like it just kind of warms up the look, brings some life in. I apply mascara and I'm good to go, as well as having some brow product in. And I just find that that's just really easy for everyday makeup, out the door, one and done. I also keep this in my purse because it's so easy to apply and do it on the go. It's a product that I packed with me on my recent trip to Europe, and I had no regrets that I brought it. I actually brought a different bronzer, As well, I brought 2 cream bronzers to have options because I was testing out the formula and I wasn't sure if I would regret packing it for 10 days. I didn't even reach for the other bronzer. I just kept going for this one because I loved it so much, and it held up through some very hot and very long days where I was out for a good 21, some days 24 hours, and the makeup looked so good. It faded very naturally. I didn't have lots of like little pigment specks. I didn't have patchiness where the bronzer was fading, and I really enjoyed that because when you're on vacation, you want the best. You want to look your best every day, and I really felt like this bronzer just helped my makeup game and really elevate it. So it's a bronzer I'm definitely going to be packing with me on future trips. So here we go. We've got Clay on, another really nice color. Now I'm going to show you how I would build this up if I wanted a bit more color. My skin's in an awkward place where I'm normally light, and in the winter I can be on the fair side. In the summer, I tend to be on the medium. So this is probably looking a little too light right now for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and just add a bit more color. I'm gonna just tap it in so you can see application with the fingers as well. And there you go. You have a little bit more of an intense cheek. So you can build up the formula as well. And I really feel like you can't go wrong with this bronzer. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove it, and then we'll go up to the next shade. Now, as we keep swatching, my cheeks are going to get a little bit more red. So you'll get to see how this foundation applies on top of foundation that's already been sitting for a bit of time. You can see it just meshes so nicely. So another great use for this foundation or concealer, however you like to use it, is to touch up on the go, which is often how I've used it as well. I throw it in my bag, and then if I feel like things aren't looking that nice, and because I'm a little bit more oily throughout the day, my skin just makes it really nice to blend out cream products if I need to touch up on the go. And so this is definitely a foundation that, again, lives in my purse. So let's go in with Seine. Now this was one of the shades I purchased myself and has been my go-to shade this summer. I would say it is that perfect medium shade. So I would say Quince is if you're fair. You can use Clay if you're light. If you're medium skin tone, Seine will probably work wonders for you. You can see it's definitely more color, but it all looks very similar to the shade before, just a little bit deeper. I would say they're mostly neutral in tone, aside from Quince, which I think leans a little bit more on the yellow side. Very nice, very effortless, so easy to blend. I know I keep saying that, but these bronzers really are fantastic. We'll move on to Leo, which is the second last shade. Now this one I have not tried. You can see it does jump up a bit from Seine. Those are the two side by side. Now this one has a bit more of a reddish undertone. The most neutral of the ones I've tried so far is Clay. Let's try Leo together for the first time. Oh yeah, that one is definitely darker and definitely more reddish. Now, with me trying the darker shades here for you, you're gonna get an idea of how easy these blend out and how sheer they are. If you have darker skin, these will definitely work for you, but it's the kind of look that you're looking for. If you're looking for something super pigmented, this isn't for you. This is a very natural, very lit from within bronzer. If I was to try a different cream bronzer from another brand that's a lot more pigmented, I could most definitely not try their medium or dark shades. It just would not work for me. I wouldn't be able to blend them out, but because this is such a creamy formula, you're really able to work with it. So that's why I want to do swatches of all the shades, so you can really get an idea what might work for your skin tone, but also just really see the formula in action and the blendability of this product. So we've got Leo on right now. All right, let's do the last shade, which is Monarch, which I have to say, for some reason, I'm drawn to that name. It just sounds very regal and expensive and like something I would want to wear. So I will note, as the colors progressed into darker shades, they do jump up a little bit more. I find that Quince and Clay are very similar, but then Monarch and Leo, there's a definite difference in pigment, which you'll see in the swatches as well. So here we go, we have Monarch, which I just have to say, I absolutely love the deep richness of this shade. So you can see how it's getting darker and darker, whereas when I held this up beside Seine, this looked as dark as this. So let's go ahead and apply Monarch. This is actually the shade I packed with me for Europe, which might shock you, but I really loved how intense it was and how easy it was to tone down if I needed it. But because it was a little bit more bolder, it gave me that longevity and pigment that I was looking for throughout the day. So I didn't have to touch up my makeup. Now, I'm definitely not going to add as much as I did with the other shades. Keep in mind, it's also mixed with a lighter foundation. You can see that on the end. So the foundation is working to kind of tone down the color and blend it together. And I feel like this one gave me a really nice contour, and then I would go on top with my favorite powder bronzer. So this one, amazing for sculpting. Now, if I was just going out and skipping a powder bronzer, I would use Seine and not use Monarch, but Monarch is the one that I layer with when I want a cream bronzer and then I want a powder bronzer on top. So I'm gonna finish the makeup. I'm gonna use Monarch. Everywhere else, we'll do some swatches and then I'll let you know a few final things. Time for some swatches. So thank you, Merit, for partnering with me in today's video. I'm so excited for this opportunity and I want to thank all my viewers and subscribers for making this happen. That pretty much wraps this video up. I hope you enjoyed it and found it really informative and helpful. I know that whenever I see a swatch video and I may be trying to figure out what shade I should get, whenever someone goes through them all, it really does help, whether they are able to use some of those shades or not. I feel like because right now I'm in this unique place where my skin is very much on the medium tone, but I can make it look a little bit more fair or light, but also a little bit darker. These bronzers really worked well, whereas if I was in the winter and I was my most fair self, I think I'd have a harder time wearing Monarch just because the rest of my skin would be quite pale. So I'll leave it here. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. I hope you're doing amazing wherever you are, and we'll talk soon. Bye.